into what incident response and security teams need to protect the internet. We had about 200 submissions for this year's conference that needed to be reviewed, rated, commented on, about 18 proposals per committee member on average by the end. With the committee providing suggestions from tweaking technology in a proposal to narrowing the focus and areas that best match your needs, this committee has selected and shaped this conference with the dedication and the sole reward being to provide the best and most balanced content for the FIRST community. I'd like the members to stand up and be recognized for the work that they've done, please. And if you have a chance later on this week, please thank them in person. I also encourage you to consider joining the program committee for next year. I was grateful for those who applied but did not make it into the program this year's committee. We want to have as a diverse committee as possible to handle all the topics that might be submitted. And while we do have a limit on the number of committee members, the more volunteers we have, the more likely we can have coverage for the themes we'll see in submissions, and the committee will best represent the diversity of FIRST. You can look for Takeuchi Yama, next year's program chair, later this week if you wish to join. And if you've never been on a program committee, this year, 5 of the members had never been on a program committee before. So please consider the opportunity to help shape next year's conference. I would also like to thank 3 other groups of people, and I would also like to thank Tom Millar for twice agreeing to change the timing of his UMQ presentation so that others could fit their presentations into the schedule. The first group I'd like to thank are the previous chairs for the last 34 years, some of whom were on this year's program committee. Their experience is captured in the guidance that helps continually improve our conference. I would also like to thank the events team, who are the keepers of the knowledge that is the foundation of this conference. Those of you who have been attending FIRST long enough will easily recognize them year after year as they check you in and help with your questions. But for the months leading up to this moment, they are the wizards behind the curtain, and I thank them for all their help. And finally, thanks to all those who submitted presentations for this year's conference. There was too much quality to accept them all, but without your submissions, there is no conference. And now I would like to introduce to you our local host, and coincidentally my boss, Sami Khoury. Thank you, and have a great conference.
Good morning, everyone. And by the way, I'm not his boss this week. He's running the show, so I'll leave it up to him. But next week is a different story. So welcome to Canada. Bienvenue à Montréal. Je vous souhaite à tous et à toutes la bienvenue à cette belle ville. The biggest city in what we call la belle province. So as Ted introduced me, my name is Sami Khoury. I'm the head of the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity. We are CERT-CA, the National CSIRT, and the Government of Canada CERT. And we're very pleased to be hosting FIRST this year. Third time Canada has hosted in 2003 in Ottawa and in Vancouver in 2008. So if you are a regular, you get to discover this beautiful country and coast to coast to coast. Ted spoke about the importance of diversity in security and how it makes us stronger, and I couldn't agree more. But rather than tell you the way he's right, and he's always right, I'm going to pick up on another element that is vital to building stronger, more secure, empowered community, and that is collaboration. And at the Cyber Center, we often say security through collaboration. Or there's a number of other phrases we often use. You know, cybersecurity is team sport, or the other one, l'union fait la force in French. So it's one of the reasons why we're so proud to be a member of FIRST. Working together within the community means building stronger relationships, improving the ways we share knowledge, and have a handy central hub for policy and best practices so we can learn from each other's experiences. And it's all about using the opportunity of the next few days to build those relationships and to build trust and develop new friends. Our jobs aren't getting any easier. and many of you are dealing with cyber incidents while here. I know my team is. Adversaries exploring new tactics attack easily across a borderless cyber world. Any one country or CERT won't on its own be able to defend against the threat. Last fall, we released our National Cyber Threat Assessment, an unclassified public document that we hope helps Canadians understand the threat environment that we face. And I'm pretty sure many of the observations and the judgment that we have in our National Cyber Threat Assessment apply to your individual environment. Empowering them, raising awareness so they understand why they need to protect themselves, and empowering them with the kind of information we see daily. NCTA findings, and some of them, as I mentioned, may sound quite familiar to your own assessment. Cybercrime is still the #1 cyber threat affecting Canadians, and ransomware is a persistent threat to Canadian organizations. We also judge that critical infrastructure is still a prime target for both cyber criminals and state-sponsored actors, and that cyber threat actors are trying to influence Canadians and degrading the trust in online spaces. We need to work more closely than ever to stay on top of our cyber responses so that we can help victims. Canada is a country of nearly 40 million people, and we should have 40 million cyber defenders. And the only way to do that is by empowering those communities to give clear, straightforward guidance, offering our best advice for free, and making sure people know it's available so that they are empowered to better protect themselves. Let me give you quick examples. And we realized that a long time ago, we couldn't fight every battle, and there isn't enough resources around to hire everybody. So we put our efforts into automation, and we invested heavily into automation. We started running collaborative workshops and hackathon where we invited participants from other countries to develop the automation tools to drive our organization. One of these is Assembly Line, and it's being featured in a workshop later this week on Thursday. Assembly Line is free for anyone to download from our website. It automates malware detection and analysis so that you can spend less time on that and more time defending your networks. It's also designed to be customized. We're so proud of this product. The collaboration had led to it, and its impact is just one of the ways we're trying to empower communities to ensure we have those 40 million cyber defenders, and by extension, all the populations in those 94 countries represented with us today. I hope you take the time this week to find out more about it, and I hope you have time to enjoy all that Montreal has to offer. I know I can't leave without grabbing some poutine, as it was mentioned in the Tom Miller comment. And now I'll turn it back over to Sharif to continue with the outline of the program. So once again, I really wish you a very successful first conference. Have lots of fun, build new friendship, new partnerships, and enjoy what this city has to offer the most. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ted and Sammy. Thank you for all the tremendous support this year. Another key player in organizing the annual conference, this one and previously, is really the engagement of a dedicated conference chair. The conference chair is a first board member who represents, the interest of FIRST in this conference and facilitate and support, oversee conference-related matters along with our event team. We have a very special event team who is behind all this. This year's chair is Tracy Bill. Tracy Bill is, a member of the board, very dedicated, and she was very engaged in making this happen. Thank you, Tracy. I'd like to invite you to the podium.
So thank you. As Sharif said, I'm Tracy Bills, this year's conference chair, and I'd like to thank Ted and the program committee once again for all of the hard work that they put into this year's program. It definitely made my role much easier. In an effort to continuously improve as an organization and community, the board recently approved a new diversity and inclusion statement. So at first, we believe that diversity is essential to achieving our missions of global cooperation and shared language. We embrace diversity in all its forms, reflecting the global and diverse membership of FIRST. We recognize that diversity enriches our organization and strengthens our ability to serve our members and the communities we work with. As research shows, that diverse teams are more innovative, productive, and resilient. We are committed to creating a welcoming, safe, and inclusive environment where all participants are valued, respected, and empowered to contribute their unique perspectives and talents. So for the member teams, you already received the full diversity statement via email, and it's also posted on the website for those that are new to FIRST and perhaps aren't members yet. The next portion of the diversity statement covers some of the ways that we plan to uphold that statement, as well as some of the initial key indicators to know that we are meeting that goal, and we expect that this will continuously be updated as needed. We also have a new contact information if you would like to reach out to any of the sub-team of the board that is working on the diversity and inclusion efforts at FIRST. We would also like to maintain a safe environment at all FIRST activities. So we ask each of you to do your part, and if anything occurs that is not aligned with safety, the FIRST Code of Conduct, or the D&I statement, please don't hesitate to report it to registration staff or reach out to one of the board of directors or through the email address. So with these things in mind, I hope everyone has a productive week of learning and networking. So thank you. Next, David will provide an update on the CTF.
Is this? Okay. Hello. Sorry, thank you. So next one is, okay. Okay, so sorry. So I'm pleased to announce the new edition of the CTF. So it's the 12th time we do it. So I will quickly explain what we will do and how you can play. So the CTF is organized by a SIG, supported by FIRST, so a special interest group, which aim at doing a CTF for the annual conference. We also plan, and we'll announce that as well, to organize a permanent CTF as a learning platform. And we also have the idea to organize a hackathon in the future. So the CTF team is quite big those days, so you can see all the persons that contribute, as well as all the organizations that do support us in the preparation of the challenges. So to give a bit of history, we started in 2012 in Malta, and since then at every conference we do have organized a CTF, including during the pandemic, where we do have organized virtual CTF in 2021, and 2020. So over the years, we do have increased number of challenges we provide. We have a record this year. We are currently at 96 flags you can get, and more than 12,000 points. So this is a record. We also added more and more categories of challenge. So this year, everyone in the room can play the CTF and we'll have fun, at least we hope. We do have added some new categories this year, like legal challenges, We do have puzzles. We have challenges that will force you to meet some person in the audience, as well as technical challenge. It's about 1/3 of non-technical challenge and 2/3 of technical challenges. And in technical challenges, we do have ICS challenges, coding challenge, reversing, networking, crypto, forensics, and so on and so forth. So most probably you will find stuff for you. We also have new categories, since we have multiple choice challenges, and we also have one open questions, which means that you will be creative and someone will validate the flag or not. And we also have introduced a coin challenge this year. So if you manage to get 2,000 points, which is relatively easy to do, you will get a coin. And on the coin itself, there is a challenge. So something nice also to try to get. And if you want a nice place to participate, there is a lounge on the second floor, quite a big space, and nice space in which you can see the score live, sit, and collaborate with your colleagues. The aim is also that you play in teams, so you can create team up to 4. To register, you will need to go to ctf.firsttechlaunch.org and use checker_2023 with exclamation mark on both sides to register. In case of issue, you can always contact us at techlaunch@firsttechlaunch.org. You will also see that when you create an account, and it's a novelty, partially you will get an account on Mattermost, so that you can collaborate with people, potentially remote people as well. And you will get an account on secdim.com, who is one of the organizations that support us, and on which you will have coding challenges. So in case you don't get those credentials, again, please ping us, and we'll fix that. So the goal and purpose, it's not an offensive CTF, so don't attack the infrastructure, obviously, but don't try to be offensive. It's mostly a blue team type of exercise. We have different type of difficulties, ranging from easy to hard. As I said, categories are quite broad those days. And we expect you to work in teams. With 96 flags, there is no way you can do all the challenge by yourself. Those slides are also running in the CTF area, so you can have time to look at them in detail. We'll release the first set of challenge today at 12, so lunchtime, and we'll release challenge every day until Thursday included. Friday, the team that won will be invited to this place to explain during a few minutes how they do and explain a bit their feedback and return of experience. So, as I said, in terms of rules, you are not supposed to attack the infrastructure. You need to download evidence and play mostly locally. There are a few challenges that require connectivity as well. And mostly with standard virtual machine that you can download, you should be able to do all the challenges. The code challenge, as I said, is for those that will reach 2,000 points. We have a limit for the first 50 teams, but that should not be an issue. We can also award the coin for those that would find a significant issue, which unfortunately sometimes happen, or be part of the winning teams. So as I said, we open at 12 today, finish Thursday 5, and on Friday there is the closing session and the prize, because there are prizes for those that win, the first 3 teams. Mattermost is there to support collaboration, and that's pretty it. So in terms of prizes, so for the first team, it will be an internet device for each of the team participants, up to 4 participants, obviously, Raspberry Pi for the second team, and Bluetooth speaker for the third team. That I will skip. One more thing, as I said, an important one. Please don't be confused, because there are 2 CTF in parallel. That one is not for the annual conference, but from yesterday, you can go, for those that are members, on the first portal, and you have a new CTF icon that will redirect you to the permanent instance. Or you can also register directly by going to ctf.first.org. The aim of that CTF, and we'll cover it with more details during the SIG update tomorrow, the aim of that CTF is to host previous edition challenges and make that platform a training platform, basically. So out of the normal CTF, and we will be open to more contribution to that as well. And for now, it's basically time for you to have fun and start to register for CTF. Have a nice conference.
Having fun. Thank you, David. Really, very interesting presentation, a lot of work, goes behind the CTF competition. It's quite exciting, even if you are not willing to participate at this point in time. I strongly encourage you to reach out to David and the team, know more about this competition. It's one of the traditions at the annual conference that I'm really proud to have, and to see it grow and become, a constant attraction of professionals. I'd like to also extend my appreciation to Tracy for the support of the work behind this, setting this conference in place. And it takes a lot of dedication over the whole year to make it happen. Before we hit the ground, hopefully running, I want to touch on quick housekeeping notes. Download the event app. We have a cool app. Each year it's, advancing. It's really nice. Go there. It's easy to run. Visit and edit your profile. If you want to make it public, actually, it would be a good idea, because you get more networking happening virtually as well, parallel to the conference. So edit your profile and make sure that you communicate with others, reach out. The FIRST community, for those of you who are newcomers, very open to engage, to network, and to cooperate. Please complete the session surveys. This might look, as a minor issue, but really it is a tremendous feedback to whoever is organizing this year's conference as well as the next year conference. Make sure that you provide the feedback about, what you like, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see moving forward. The links to the surveys are located within the session in the app. As mentioned earlier, join us this evening for the sponsors showcase reception immediately following the sessions at the end of the day. And if you are up for it, there is an informal attendee soccer meetup, football. I'm Egyptian, so I use the term football. This evening, off-site. This is an informal event, but it's, again, a lot of fun. Find the details over on the bulletin board near the registration. Thank you, Michael Mortensen. I think Michael is around for coordinating the effort. If you want, Michael, I'm looking for you. If you want to share, some of the details of how to join. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Michael Mortensen from Flashpoint out of Copenhagen, Denmark. And this is just a quick announcement for our unofficial traditional soccer football fun networking event we have. So a bus will pick us up 6:15 tonight, take us to the indoor pitch, which we have booked for 2 hours. And then depending on how many players we are, we will divide the teams and have fun. And we have a certified referee to make sure everything goes safe. No one won't get injured. And then the bus will bring us back here to the hotel again around 9:30. So drop by the registration desk, add your name to the list if you would like to participate in this fun networking event. Thank you.
Thanks. I would like to bring the stage one final support before we get things rolling. I would like to introduce Ali Afshari. He is the General Manager of Cisco Canada. Cisco has been a long-time partner and valued supporter of FIRST over the years. We are grateful of Cisco's support as our diamond sponsor. Ali, please take the stage.
So before I start, I'm not the general manager of Cisco Canada. Thank you for the promotion. No, thank you very much. I run the security practice and the general manager for security just before the PR team calls me up. But anyone that's looking for a team member for the CTF, I will go bring coffee because I would like to be part of that great party that you're organizing. Thank you for that. All right. So bonjour and bienvenue au Montréal. For those of you who know, we are a bilingual country, and welcome to Montreal. I'm the general manager for security for Cisco Canada, and I'm honored to here to kind of kick it off. You know, after all these introductions, we're going to get into the presentations. For preparation for this talk, I did a little bit of a research. I'm wondering, you know, first, what's the longest running security conference out there? So I did a bit of a search, and, you know, DEF CON came out. DEF CON was running 1993. Then I did a little bit of RSA in 1991. So I don't know how long FIRST has been running. I do believe, obviously, 35 years, and I think the first year was 1991. And I asked some of the members at breakfast, has anyone attended the first conference from the first event ever? And Martin, your name came up. They told me, look for a gentleman that's tall with this nice silver hair. So you might be the longest running attendee on the first, but if you're not, you can come to, anyone that believes you've been here long enough, you can come to the Cisco booth. I'm going to hand out a little gift for someone who's been here a long time. Thank you very much. Martin, how long have you been coming to the first?
So it's actually Derek. And I was not at the first one, but my first conference was in 2000, and I've been to every one since.
Wow, amazing. What country was that? Because I think everyone thinks about the country they attended the first time.
I was actually in Chicago.
Chicago. Not as great as Tokyo or anywhere else. It's Chicago.
The next year was Toulouse. That was amazing.
That was not bad. Okay, excellent. Very well. Well, thank you very much. Well, maybe first wasn't first, but maybe it was. But let's figure it out. What I can tell you that this conference is an incredible conference. I just met a number of people that was their first time coming to the conference, and what I suggested to them said that this conference is about technique, is about learning, and is about meeting people. And I know that going to a conference like this virtually is also okay, and thanks for all the 100 people that are on a virtual platform. Hopefully they're on the WebEx platform, but if they're not, it's okay as well. But I want to make sure that anyone that is here, your first thing to do is to meet people. Add those contacts to your contact list, because there are 92 countries here. Imagine you have someone in your contact list. You can pick up the phone from Czech Republic and say, I met you at first. I need to talk to you about this. So meet the right people, connect, make the connections happen. All right. And we know that this is a conference for incident responders. I know that the roles have changed, but no, it is such an important role that you guys play in the resilience of the companies, resilience of all the public and our country. And absolutely every country depends on the work that you do to make sure that it's secure. And I call it, thank you for protecting my mom's identity. And I always talk about my mom because she always calls me up, says, I just got a new email. What should I do with this? I'm like, Mom, don't click on anything. That's the number one thing. So thank you for doing that work. All right. So you have a week here, and we're going to be discussing a lot of work around cyber, and we're going to have a lot of great time talking about cyber. And I wanted to kind of little special about Cisco. We've been a sponsor since the early days, and we continue to be a sponsor because we believe in what you do at first. We're a diamond sponsor, and I can tell you that, you know, I went out to the Cisco team and I said, tell me some of the names, some of the people that have been involved in this. Gavin Reed's name came up. And for those of you, I don't know if Gavin's here or not, but I hope he's here. He'd come and give me a hug. And Gavin was on one of the first, and he was part of the CFSS's first identity makers. We had Gavin, Jeff Bollinger, Matt Balatis, all helped out on the Amsterdam Technical Curriculum. We had a bunch of names here. Mike Codale, Renaud Ralton, Dave Schwartzberg, I apologize if I didn't announce that correctly, and they've been on the steering committee for many years, and some of them they've been chairman. So thank you for all the work that these teams have done. Logan Wilkins is here, and he's been the current chair of the Metrics SIG. And not just being part of the organization and contributing and making sure this happens, we've had a number of keynote speakers. Some of those keynote speakers in the past were John Stewart, who used to be our chief security officer at Cisco, and Wendy Nader, who's part of the CISO advisory team. All right, so now we are. And so we're really happy to be organized, happy, and I hope that, what is next year, do we know? Next year, the conference? Do we know where it is? I might be there. I'm gonna put in that thing there. Thank you very much for that. All right, so now you're here in Montreal in June. I can tell you as a Canadian, this is the best month to be in Montreal. We love Montreal. And it's a week before F1. So by Thursday, you're gonna see a lot of nice cars on the road. It's gonna get really busy in Montreal. But if you're in Montreal, this is the kind of things you gotta do. Now, if you haven't done it, walk the old port, walk to old Montreal, go by Mont-Royal, take a look at the view. But I highly suggest you gotta do 3 things. Have a Montreal bagel, right? That should be on your list. Go have a Montreal bagel. Have a Montreal smoked meat. And if you can take some in your luggage and the dogs are not going to sniff it out, take some with you. Smoked meat, amazing. And finally, please don't stay in your room and order room service. Go to a nice restaurant. Have a great meal in Montreal. So with that, I'm going to introduce your first speaker. Leslie is Leslie Carhart. Leslie is the Director of Incident Response for North America at Dragos. Dragos is an organization that focuses on customers' ICS environment. Prior to joining Dragos, Leslie was the Incident Response team lead at Motorola Solutions. Leslie now manages the team. And Incident Response, she does a lot of forensics. She builds a lot of training courses out there. And, you know, Leslie, I was reviewing, she had so many awards, I would have taken more than 20 minutes just to go over awards, but the one thing that I really thought was she received the SANS Institute at the Achievement Awards in 2022. So Leslie also does a lot more than cyber. If Leslie, you see her Twitter, the handle is Hacks for Pancakes, and I'm sure there's a story behind that, and you might want to ask her. And Leslie was a U.S. Air Force vet, a martial artist, and someone that's passionate about something I'm also passionate in. It is really bringing in more movement into cyber. So I look at around the room, I think we have a lot more work to do on that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to your keynote speaker, Leslie Carhart. Leslie, come on board.